October 2024 really gave us 3 superhero movies, and they all actually range from the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life, no I'm not kidding, to a superhero movie that was bad, but it was like funny bad, to a movie that was just alright, and it's just like, alright. It's like a nice movie. Now I do use the term superhero movie kind of loosely here, because My Hero is not a superhero movie, and Joker is certainly not a superhero movie. Joker's just from a comic book, and My Hero is based off comic book type of stuff, I guess. But Venom basically is. So that's why we're talking about all of them today, starting with the one I hate the most. And obviously that movie is... Now I should mention, this isn't going to be like a deep dive for any of these movies at all. It's just going to be about what I remember that will definitely have spoilers in it. So if you don't want spoilers for any of these movies, just click away. The Joker 2 was honestly the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. This movie is just a horrible sequel from the first one. Honestly, the performance was fine. I think Joaquin Phoenix is the guy who plays Joker. Lady Gaga plays Harley Quinn. They're fine. They play their characters right, but the writing in this movie is just horrible. Honestly, it's just horrible. Them making this movie a musical, it was a unique idea. I'll be honest, because we knew it was going to be a musical. And if you didn't know it was going to be a musical and you just watched Joker 2 because you like Joker 1, I'm sorry. Honestly, the music numbers were fine. I really liked it in the beginning with that like animated cutscene, but that's it. Where they need to explain the plot, they just kind of break out into song and then don't explain anything. And then it cuts to the next scene. Like they use it as a transition more than anything to just help the story itself, which I hate, so it needs to stop. It got old really, really fast. This movie is just a horrible sequel from the first one. The first one was actually really good. I've seen it multiple times, and I really liked it, so obviously I was very excited. Out of every movie on this entire list, it was the one I was most excited for. And I saw the reviews for it ahead of time, and I refused to believe it, because I don't like the idea of seeing reviews and letting it dictate your own opinion. You might as well see it for yourself and make that decision. So yeah, Joker sucks in this movie. He just kind of is like living in the shadow of his first self, literally living in the shadow of his former self in the first movie, where they kind of go this route that he's like an alter ego. Again, it's been a while since I've seen this movie. It's been like 3-4 weeks. My memories on this movie aren't strong, but my opinions are. Obviously, this movie, I hated it. Nothing I hated more in this entire movie than Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn in this movie is the worst character, and it's not even close. I know some of you guys are gonna say, oh, but she was the best part of it. She was the newest part. Lady Gaga can sing. Everybody knows that. That's why she's a pop star. I'm not arguing that she can't sing. I'm not arguing that her performance was bad. Her character was so delusional. She just lies to Joker at the movie, and Joker just kind of goes with it. He's just like, okay. You know when I knew it was bad? Was when she goes, "Gonna build a mountain. We're gonna build a mountain." What the fuck does that mean? So yeah, I hated Harley Quinn in this movie. Ending was probably just as bad. I know some people have their theories with like it being like kind of a spit in the face of Jared Leto's Joker by making him the guy who carves his own face. It's just unnecessary. It's just a horrible ending to a horrible film. I'm done talking about this dumbass movie. I'm giving this movie a 0 out of 10. Didn't like it. Let's move on to the next one. My Hero Academia, actually a series that I quite enjoy, like a lot more than I used to. I know people have had their gripes with Mid-Hero Academia, ha ha ha. But I actually like My Hero. I think it's alright. I've definitely treaded on that line. I think that show's being dragged out for longer than it needs to be, but they're wrapping it up now, and they have a movie coming out, and I had to go see it. I actually really liked it. So it's fine. It's better than the other My Hero movies. The action and animation in this movie was actually pretty good. Animes, when they get into movies, are typically of higher quality. That's just the standard. That's just the way things are. But this movie actually is pretty good. The action is really good. The music is also movie quality as hell. It's like an orchestral version of every theme they've ever used in the My Hero show ever. It's actually pretty awesome. And hey, the main character wasn't as bad. I've grown to dislike Midoriya as the story goes on, but for some reason in this movie, I think there's a section in the movie where he just doesn't have powers, and it's honestly pretty cool. Like, you actually like Midoriya for a person, but he's not the main character in this movie, obviously. This formula is the exact same as every other My Hero movie, where Midoriya meets somebody, that somebody has a problem, Midoriya solves that problem with the help of Class 1A, and they just move on with the same plot. So yeah, there's nothing to really like more about this movie than the other movies besides the villains. And the villains in this movie are hilarious, which is actually why I liked it a lot. They have Evil All Might, who is literally Evil All Might, not that one. Goon Squad, he's basically got Geronimo Stilton, yes ma'am, and that one elf from Shrek. Again, yeah, this is not really too deep into the movies. If you guys like My Hero, you'll like this movie. This movie was a solid, I'll say 7 out of 10. It was alright, actually. I actually really liked it. And with that, on to my favorite movie of this entire list.
Why do I hear Eminem all of a sudden?
Now, the entire reason I'm making this video, it was because I saw Venom literally last night at the time of me recording this, and it was just funny bad. I really like the first Venom movie. The second one was very forgettable. There's plot points in this Venom 3 that I couldn't remember at all. So Venom 2, forgettable as hell. This movie, I'm never gonna forget for as long as I live. Tom Hardy, the guy who plays Eddie Brock, he does really get into character, but I don't know about his performance. He's always making this face like he's passing a shit, and he's always sweating for some reason. I know that's not the actor's choice, but he's always sweating. In like every movie, he's always sweating. I don't get it. Now, I also really like how they lean into Venom's kind of like funny side almost. They just kind of embrace it. It reminds me a lot of like Legends of Tomorrow when they stop taking themselves seriously and they just kind of let him say whatever. But his voice is so hard to understand what he's saying. He's got like this growling effect all the time and you can't understand one word he's saying. I also have to say, they kind of retcon something at the beginning of the movie that I think is the MCU part, right? They just retcon the coolest part about Venom right away, and it's that he's in the MCU, and they just take it away. Why? That was the coolest part about Spider-Man's end credit scene, was that Venom was in it. And I was really excited to see Venom in the MCU. And now it's gone. But yeah, Venom's pretty cool in this movie. He's a lot more lethal in this movie than I thought he was gonna be. There's a scene where he's like biting people's heads off. There's a scene where he just kills every person on a plane by destroying its engine. Now the plot of the movie is really bad, honestly. They introduce a character who, I think Dr. Payne is her name, but my brother said she looks like Lucy from Despicable Me. So that's what I'm gonna start calling her for the rest of the video. So Lucy has the worst backstory I've ever seen in my entire life. She basically has a backstory where her brother got shocked by lightning while holding her hand. This isn't important until it is at the end of the movie, where she becomes a Venom and she just runs at full speed because she got shocked by lightning when she was 6. That's it. No, I didn't skip anything. That's literally it. And what's crazy is she's not even the dumbest character in this entire movie. There's one girl who has like a Christmas pin, and for some reason, she is like the most nothing character who just randomly gets deep. Like, my favorite line in this entire movie isn't, "No, it's not the black one." It's that she just randomly looks at another side character and just goes, "When's the last time you've seen your family?" No, I'm not kidding. They never talk about that scene again. This movie's all over the place. This review's all over the place. And since we're talking about side characters, we might as well talk about the guy played by Otto Hightower, which his name was Martin in the movie, but I couldn't care. It was just Otto Hightower the entire time. Of the guy from House of Dragons, it was actually so funny to see him play a different role. To go back to the plot of this movie, it's just so dumb. They talk about how because Eddie died in the last movie, if he fuses with Venom fully, that they just get found and killed by some like space aliens. So the solution seems pretty simple to me, just don't fuse. That's it, the movie's over, right? But for some reason, in the middle of the movie, Venom just transforms to dance with Mrs. Chen, the lady from the first movie, who just randomly at LA the same time that Venom is. Again, this isn't a full review, so I'm kind of jumping all over the place. But that plot point you wouldn't think is that essential, of him just picking up Mrs. Chen and dancing, but it actually leads to Venom dying. Yes, he dies in this movie. And with the funniest montage at the end. I can't even remember the song that they played. But it's actually so funny. They do like a 2016 See You Again montage for Venom at the end of the movie, which is just hilarious. Honestly, I couldn't get enough of it. This movie, 10 out of 10. This movie was funny bad. I loved it. Funny bad. Go see it.